We gonna take no prisoners. Hoes. Oh, bet. Alright, let's get it. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Alright, showtime. Alright, what's up, everybody, and welcome to what is going to be the first episode of the highlight reel, my brand new solo podcast. Nobody but me, just me, only me, and me all the time. I'm not gonna intro it that way every single time. Yeah, just a heads up to those of you that are watching this on YouTube at a later date, or those of you who might be listening on Spotify, we're doing this live on Twitch right now. So we got a few people chilling in the stream right now. We're gonna do a little bit of a live sort of Q&A, and hopefully we'll do this on a semi-regular basis, so that maybe we'll be able to get the chat involved, and this is a good way for interaction and shit. You guys can sort of talk to me in real time, do real-time Q&As. I think this is kind of a cool idea. But yeah, this is my brand new solo podcast, so I'm gonna explain all of that shit because obviously, if you guys have been paying attention to my shit, you'll know that we started the Wavelengths podcast. We launched that like a month and a half ago, or maybe not even that. So I went from having no podcasts to having 2 podcasts real quick. But yeah, I'll explain all that shit. But yeah, if you guys caught my Real Talk video, I posted a Real Talk video on Halo 5 a few days ago, and essentially I talked about the idea of maybe doing this solo podcast because I used to do a lot of Real Talk videos on YouTube. I would upload videos, 20, even sometimes longer minute videos of me tackling like more serious subjects. A lot of the time I would take suggestions from my Discord or Twitter, or even just the YouTube comments for what subject we should tackle. But we tackled a lot of more serious subjects. I was able to talk a lot about we talked about anxiety and stress and like motivation and depression and all sorts of serious topics that I was really glad to be able to sort of give my 2 cents on and sort of bring to YouTube. But I was always worried when I first like started as a content creator, because I sort of in my videos I sort of play the character of sort of over the top, hyper aggressive, making weird noises, talking shit, all that stuff. And so I was worried that like I guess sort of in the same vein as like an actor being typecast, like the guy who plays a frat guy in a movie and then he only gets cast as frat guys for the rest of his career. I was like worried that like maybe if I uploaded some more real genuine shit that maybe like people wouldn't fuck with it, or people wouldn't think it was genuine, or something like that, you know what I mean? Because it would be sort of a contrast to my normal content. But surprisingly, people really fucked with it, and people liked seeing me do that stuff, and that shit did really well. And so I've been looking for a way to bring that back, because YouTube, especially nowadays, is trending much more towards the search engine optimization, snappy titles and thumbnails, trying to beat the algorithm, trying to be concise and get your point out there, trying to be entertaining right this second. And so I feel like maybe a Halo Livecom isn't the best place for me to just talk about nothing for like 30 minutes, you know what I mean? So I feel like this is like a good outlet for me to like talk about stuff that I want to talk about in sort of a more chill environment, and not have to worry about Halo gameplay, or trying to also be entertaining and just whatever, trying to be concise and get all my points out in like 15 minutes or less, sometimes even less than that, because 15 minutes is even kind of pushing it, and I upload long videos. My videos are probably on average like 15 to 20 minutes. But yeah, so I was really looking for a good platform, or sort of vehicle, I guess is a better word, to sort of be able to do that. So where I got this idea from really is, I talk about Cody Ko and Noah Miller all the time. Huge fan of their shit. And Cody used to do this solo podcast, was essentially the same shit as this. Is he would just do a podcast by himself, he would talk for 20-30 minutes about like whatever. He would take I don't know if he took suggestions like from his audience or not, but I just thought that was a cool idea because I've always been super into podcasting, and up until recently, I've never had the means or the knowledge to do it. Or well, I've always had the means, but I've never had the, I guess, the motivation or the incentive. And then finally, when we launched Wavelengths, because I have to, because I produce and do everything behind the scenes with the Wavelengths podcast. You know, I edit and produce it and make sure it gets uploaded to all its different places and run the YouTube channel and the Twitter and all that shit. So throughout that process, I learned you know, everything that goes into podcasting, and because of that, I felt comfortable with sort of launching this idea. So that's that's what we're doing now. You know, I've been really excited about doing something like this for a while. I've really wanted to get into podcasting, and I listen to a ton of podcasts, and I really, like I said, I really wanted to get into this for a long ass time. So I'm glad that I can finally get this shit down. I have a little system in place, and we're gonna do this. So yeah, so like I said, we're live on Twitch right now, which makes things a little bit funky because we've obviously got some people chilling in the stream here, and then there's some of you that are watching on YouTube, and then there's going to be a lot of you that are listening to this at a later date on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you're listening. So I'm gonna do my best to, you know, like when I'm answering questions from the chat, I'll make sure I restate the question. I'll just try to make sure that everything flows okay for all parties that are consuming this, if that makes sense. Just so this flows as best as possible for everybody. So I hope it isn't too awkward or, you know, funky. I hope this ends up working out okay. But yeah, so we gonna go ahead and just get right into the bullshit. But yeah, I'm calling it the highlight reel because, listen, alright, I'm a little bit 50-50 on the name. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Half of me thinks that it might be a dope ass name, right? Because obviously my last name's Reel, Reel, Reel. I had all kinds of shitty nicknames growing up. You guys get it. I think the name's kind of dope. The other half of me thinks it might be a goofy ass name and it might suck. Not really sure, but we gonna roll with it. It's in the title. I already got the logo made. It's too late, bro. We're calling it the highlight reel. That's gonna be the name of our solo podcast. We doing it like this. We ain't changing it. I'm committing. Yeah. I had a couple things listed out, and so essentially, I figured I'd talk about just a couple things that I like wanted to talk about, and well, we might do this like maybe once every other week. I don't know if I want to commit to once a week because that's a lot of podcasts to do in addition to my already existing workload with YouTube and Twitch, and trying to work on content for that. But Halo's kind of slow at the moment, so maybe we'll just do this a bunch. But yeah, so we're gonna, like I said, might be a little awkward, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep on with this shit. Yeah, I mentioned the Discord and taking suggestions for this. But the main point of this is going to be interaction with you guys. I want to be able to talk about shit with you guys. I want it to be like a conversation. That's the whole point of doing it live. That's the whole point of taking suggestions from you guys about certain topics. So I think the sort of format that we're going to do for this is I'll have like a few bullet points listed out of things that I want to talk about that are either things that I myself want to cover or things that you guys have suggested to me, and then we'll cover a few of those things, and then at the end we'll do like a little question and answer with the chat on Twitch, and then hopefully that'll be pretty cool, and hopefully that'll all work. Like I said, I'll try to keep it relatively concise and not talk for like 47 minutes, but I can't promise anything. But yeah, so firstly, like I said, I mentioned the Discord. So the main place that I get my suggestions for, like when I do real talk videos, when I when I'm gonna want suggestions for topics to talk about in this podcast or the Wavelengths podcast, either or, I definitely look to my Discord. So if you're not on my Discord, definitely go join the server. you're in the Twitch chat, you can hit the Discord command. Or if you go to my YouTube channel, it's linked everywhere. It's in the description of every single one of my videos. We have such a dope community over there, and a bunch of really awesome people. And I really appreciate my community because they can dish it out and they can take it. They can talk their shit and they can take it. So we got some dope people. So if you're looking for some people to game with, or you want to give me suggestions for topics or whatever, or like, I'm always in my Discord server, so that's like the best place to talk to me. So definitely join the Discord server if you're not in there. But yeah, man, I just wanted to sort of promote all that shit. Yeah, follow me on Twitter at ReclaimerCR, and you can tweet me shit too. But yeah, fuck, dude, quarantine has been weird, boys. It's been really weird. Oh my god, I should probably mute my alerts. For those of you listening on Spotify, that was a Twitch alert that you just heard. That was me yelling at a tournament. I'm gonna mute the alerts, but I'm gonna still have them on the screen for those of you that are in the chat. Like I said, it might be a little bit awkward, and we're gonna figure out different like little things like that, but we're gonna keep moving with it. Man, let me tell you, I really miss sports, dude. There's no basketball to watch and there's no baseball to watch, and they're talking about maybe doing like quarantined baseball in Arizona now, but like, I don't know if that's actually gonna happen, because it seems like a lot of the players don't want to go through with that, because obviously when you're talking about a sport and two professional teams, even if there's no fans, because that's the whole point, they were going to play in Arizona with no fans, right, in the arenas, but still, even without all those people, that's still a lot of people, because you have everybody on the two teams, you got coaching staff, you got umpires, you got security, you got people that got food, you know, there's all kinds of people involved with that, and all of those people have to commit to being away from their families for like, what, 4 or 5 months, however long the season lasts. I don't know. Point is this coronavirus situation ain't convenient for nobody, and I'm definitely not trying to sit here and complain about my sports, because there's definitely bigger issues in the world, but that's just where my head's at in quarantine, man. I don't know about y'all, but my sleep schedule has gone off the deep end, and that took no time. I apparently have no self-discipline, because literally as soon as me and my family talked about potentially quarantining, like a month ago or whenever, or 3 weeks ago, whenever this shit started, literally that night, I think I stayed up till like 4 or 5 in the morning, and ever since then, I have been pulling all-nighters. I have been sleeping till late hours in the afternoon. It has been bad. I've been taking a lot of naps. Sleep schedule is chalked, brothers. But I've been playing a lot of video games because of that. I've been streaming a ton, so shout out to everybody who's chilling in the Twitch stream right now. But yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're listening on Spotify, definitely go check out the Twitch stream, because I'm streaming pretty much every day. We're constantly playing all kinds of games. We got a super chill community over there, and it's super good vibes all the time, man. We're playing not only Halo, but we're playing we're playing all kinds of single player games. I just finished playing through a bunch of the Assassin's Creed games. I played AC2 and Brotherhood through the Ezio collection, which those games are so fucking good, dude. I skipped Revelations because that game was so boring. I got like halfway through it and could not finish it. Played AC3. That game's kind of ass. But yeah, we might play Black Flag. We've got a bunch of other single player games that we want to play on the stream. You know, we've got all kinds of games coming out this fall. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's all up in the air now, because games are getting delayed. Games and movies and all kinds of shit. Man, this whole thing is all kinds of crazy. I've never seen the world just put on complete hold like this. It's wild, man. And I know that's like it's like a super easy, whoa, bro. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know, man. It's weird to be in the midst of some shit like this. But yeah, I mean, obviously that shit goes without saying. But yeah, I hope y'all's quarantine has been going well, man. I hope everybody's keeping the vibes up, you know. It's real easy for me. I don't know about y'all, but it's real easy for me whenever I get into sort of a mode like this, to get really sort of angsty and lonely because you're on such a shitty sleep cycle, and you're up at weird hours of the night, and you're not getting like, when I don't get like sunlight, like when I don't get out of the house, that's when I start, like, the days start running together, and I start getting like, that's when I start getting a little depressed and shit. And so I always got to like make an effort to like at least get up for a little bit, like go outside. Like I've even, dude, I've taken walks recently, and I'm not saying that to be like, oh, I got out and exercised. Like, I fucking, since high school, dude, I don't do shit, man. I was so desperate. I got outside, dude. I took a walk, bro. I'm a gamer. I'm not supposed to see the sun. Are you kidding me? But yeah, man. I've been doing that shit. Um, I've been driving my car around a lot. See, I live in Nashville, or I live in the suburbs outside of Nashville, Tennessee. So a pretty densely populated area, but we have a safer at home order out right now, which is like they recommend that you're at home if you're non essential, but it's not to the point where like you're quarantined. Like, people are still allowed to get out of the house because, obviously grocery stores are still open for certain hours of the day. Pharmacies, restaurants, you can like go through the drive through and get carry out. So I've still been going to Chick-fil-A a little bit, but uh but yeah, I've been getting out and driving. I pop the sunroof and drive and get a little breeze going. It's but so yeah, it's, I don't know. It's the little things you gotta, I don't know. You gotta pay attention. You gotta pay attention to your vibes. Your own mental state. You know what I'm saying? During times like this, because shit gets wonky, and you know what I mean. It can fuck you up. It can rock your shit, get you sideways. But yeah, I wanted to talk about why I'm doing this podcast in addition to the Wavelengths podcast, because I figured it might, I mean, maybe nobody cares, maybe it doesn't matter at all, but I figured it might be a little bit confusing to some people who were like, well, you just started this podcast, so why are you starting another one? Because I touched on it sort of lightly in my real talk video, but not really much in depth. I didn't really elaborate any. But essentially, I wanted to do this podcast because we started the Wavelengths podcast, and that is myself, Proximity, and Samaritan. That's our podcast as a group. Wavelengths is sort of a long term project that we're gonna do, that we have a lot of plans for the future. Um, and so we're gonna stick with that, and that's sort of like the official podcast, I guess you could say. That's where we're gonna talk about like Halo news and like that, like grassroots shit, and like whatever else, right? That's where we're gonna give like our, I guess, official comments on things. If that, I don't know, that probably sounded super douchey. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Um, but yeah, that podcast essentially, in the way that I described it in the video, was I'm sort of, because I mentioned that I produce and run the whole shit, and I do everything behind the scenes with it. And so to that end, I also sort of like, I sort of consider myself, I guess, like the moderator of the podcast. I'm not the one who talks the most on the Wavelengths podcast. That job is for Justin and Cole. My job is to sort of, I produce the whole shit. I intro and outro it. I set up the points and sort of keep the conversation moving. Which actually Justin did most of that in the last episode. But yeah, man, it was, the Wavelengths podcast is super dope. By the way, go check that out if you haven't already. Like I said, it's a podcast that myself, Proximity, and Samaritan do, and it's all dope vibes, and it's all about esports and gaming. And the last episode actually that we just recorded was all about how the three of us became friends, and just like stories from events and shit, because we figured everybody was in need of some good vibes. You know what I mean? Especially in times as weird as these. You know what I mean? So we definitely tried to talk about some past memories and some good vibes and shit. And that's definitely what I want this podcast to be as well. I want this to be super chill, just like talk about whatever, um, and just be good vibes, just sort of good energy. You know what I mean? So, but also like I want this to like literally we can talk about whatever, and that's why I'm looking like to you guys for a lot of the suggestions for like what you guys want to hear me talk about. Um, so yeah, I don't know. That's why, I just want this to be sort of, I don't know what I'm trying to say, man. Hopefully y'all get what I was trying to put down a minute ago. I kind of lost my train of thought. Shit went sideways. Whatever, we gonna regain. Yeah, I want this to be about literally whatever. I think this is what we were talking about. I want this to be about literally whatever because I'm into like all kinds of shit. I've been watching hella documentaries recently. I'm a big history nerd. Movies, TV shows. I'm huge into movies and shit. I even read a little bit. I'm kind of a weirdo like that. I'm kind of a nerd. Um, I'm super into sports. I'm super into basketball and baseball. Um, and we've had like I've had a couple like on like with Twitch chat. I've had a couple before like really nice, really fun like movie discussions. Just fun stuff like that. So I want you guys to like whenever you guys are suggesting shit, like literally it can be whatever as long as it's fucking within reason. I'll talk about it even if it's some dumb shit. I want this to be fun. Like I said, I want this to be good energy. I want this to be positive shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So I'm looking at the Twitch chat right now, and I'm seeing movies. I'm seeing movie discussion suggested, and it looks like we've got Rise of Skywalker. So this is gonna be a fun first episode. I can already tell. So I will talk about Tiger King. So I did start watching Tiger King. I was late on it. I only just watched the first episode of Tiger King today, which Tiger King, by the way, if you guys don't know, is the Netflix documentary. It's all about the crazy private zoo owner and crazy like it's I don't know. I'm not even gonna describe it. Just like you guys probably know all about it because it's fucking everywhere right now. It's like it's literally it caught on like the Baby Yoda shit, bro. It caught on like that. It's fucking everywhere. So yeah, I don't know. But I just started watching that. I watched the first episode. It was really good. I'm gonna watch more of it later tonight, I think, while I'm editing. Um yeah, I do watch hella documentaries. I mainly like documentaries about like serial killers and like one of my favorite documentaries is called Killer Legends, which is all about because I'm big on movies too. So that documentary is all about um horror movies and like urban legends and their real life influences. So like it's like what was an example? So like the killer with the hook for a hand, the babysitter killer that's calling from inside the house, the clown killer, um the candy man, the guy that tampers with candy, like all those like urban legends and shit that you see in movies and breaks down like its real life influences, which is super interesting. So I'm super into that. I really like serial killer documentaries just because I find that shit fascinating. Like anything like that or like true crime, like unsolved mysteries. Like, or I watch fucking forensic files all the time. I took a forensics class in high school that I fucking loved. It was like the only class that I passed. Um, yeah, I love all kinds of shit like that. Um, Speaking of, this is kind of random, but I watched the Ted Bundy Netflix original movie with Zac Efron a few months ago. I don't know. I don't know why I was just thinking of this because we were talking about serial killers. It was okay. It was fine. It was all right. It was. I think it was. I think they nailed the kind of off-putting vibe. I think that's what movies are going for these days to try to be artsy. Is they want to be super off-putting and weird, sort of the Jordan Peele way of doing things. You know what I mean? Um. But yeah. Fuck. What else were we gonna? Rise of Skywalker. That's what else I was gonna talk about. So I think we're far enough removed from Rise of Skywalker that I can talk about it. Um. I think so. It's out now. You can go watch it. It's like it's. I don't know if it's out on like physically, but I know it's out digitally. Um. So I'm about to spoil all the shit, and I don't even remember most of it. I actually listen. Yo, I'm actually gonna look at my phone right now. I literally have a notes file in here somewhere because I texted Jesse after we watched it. Jesse, our friend Jesse, is also a huge Star Wars fan. And so I texted him like right after I watched it and we were talking about this. I wrote all this shit down because oh my god, Rise of Skywalker was a disaster. And bro, listen, this is coming from just context. I'm a die-hard Star Wars fan. Have been since I was a little kid. I love the prequels, bro. I defend the prequels. All right. So just for context, this is who you're dealing with here, right? God, that movie sucked, bro. I watched. All right, listen. When Force Awakens dropped, I was like, I liked it. I was like, okay. Listen, I was like, I expected the fan service. You know, as a big franchise returning and all that. You know, they sort of copied A New Hope to the letter. You know, it was whatever, right? But I was cool with it. You know, characters were likable. J.J. Abrams and all the mystery box bullshit set up the next movie. It was cool. Ryan Johnson apparently had other plans and totally went another direction with Last Jedi. So Last Jedi was super weird and everybody hated it. And they made all those weird decisions. And then they went back to J.J. Abrams because they were like, well, shit, we got to fix all the decisions that Ryan Johnson made now. And so with Rise of Skywalker, you end up with this super crazy, nonsensical, back and forth, like bullshit mess of a movie where characters make such stupid choices against their nature that it makes no sense. Like characters that we've spent like so you get a whole trilogy, right? You get a whole trilogy to deal with these characters. You get 3 movies. And if that character has an arc in the first 2 movies, you expect a conclusion, right? But they took several characters and just like it was like they were just picking shit out of a hat. Like, we're gonna make him do this and him do this, and they literally, people were switching allegiances, and it made literally nothing made any sense. I have a notes thing right here. So Kerry Russell was in the movie, which Kerry Russell, well-known actress, by the way, very well-known, famous actress, was in the movie, was super hyped up to be in the movie, and we never saw her. That freaky like chick with the mask on that we never saw. You like only saw her eyes once. Who was like, she was like Poe's like random girlfriend that I guess knew. Yeah, she was in the movie. That was supposed to be a big part, but okay. There was that one chick that apparently was vibing with Finn. I don't know who she was. She came out of nowhere. They set up this whole thing with 3PO where they were like, yo, 3PO's gonna like, he's gonna like, he has to die. They have to like erase his memory to find this one memory or something. However it was. And he has to die and there's nothing we can do about it. And then at the end they were like, oh, never mind. He didn't really have to die. Listen, I know, I just realized this. I know I was just talking like 5 minutes ago about how I wanted to be like good energy and positivity and like all this shit, and now I'm over here like, ah, Star Wars fucking sucked. Like, this is the platform for this. All right, I've been wanting to talk about this shit and I haven't been able to for a while. So, bullet point number 4, we got a list here, fellas. My man's Palpatine was chilling on that planet by himself with infinite zombie star destroyers that all had the capability to destroy planets the whole time. Ever since the end of the last movie, or ever since the end of Return of the Jedi. And he's just been chilling. He's just been sitting there. Just doing nothing. Yeah, okay, whatever. So the way I have this written down here is how come Kylo was bad and good, and then he was alive, and then he was dead, and then he was alive, and then he and Rey kissed, and then he died. That's essentially what happened to Kylo Ren in that movie. He was bad, and then he was good, and then he was dead, and then he was alive, and then he kissed Rey, and then he died. And then Rey at the end, oh my god. With the line, y'all know what I'm talking about. Rey Skywalker. Yeah, so Palpatine had kids and then killed his kids and then has been the secret grandfather of Rey the whole time. I mean, that's fucking sick. No, Hux. This was the big one. Hux, right? Hux is in the last 2 movies has been hyped up as, or not hyped up, has been built up as like this. You know, he's like, he's committed and he's a leader and he's like super angry and he's like, but he's like also a little bitch. You know what I mean? But he's like committed to like his evil shit. He's gonna do his empire shit. And all of a sudden, they were like, nope, actually, he's a mole, and he's this goofy character that we're going to use for laughs, and then all of a sudden, he just dies. Whatever, bro. So, the one that really bothered me, which was like the main point of the whole movie. So, in The Last Jedi, right, the whole end encounter where they're on like the salt planet, right? Leia calls for help because the resistance is down to like 20 people, remember, and the Empire or the First Order's about to bust through the shit, and there's nothing they can do about it. And Leia calls for help, and nobody answers. Nobody in the galaxy answers. Not a single person. And they're like, hope is lost or whatever, right? Because the whole point is that then Luke does the distraction, and the 20 Resistance people escape, and then hope lives on, right? Because the 20 escaped, right? But the whole point of that was that Leia called out for help, and not a single person answered. But then Lando goes off and asks for help, and shows up 5 minutes later with a whole galaxy full of people. Remember that whole fleet of people that came out of hyperspace? The hell was that, bro? Listen, man, all I'm saying is if you're gonna establish things that happen and like rules in your universe, that was probably loud as shit. I just slapped my hand. I'm sorry. But if you're gonna establish rules, you gotta, I don't know, man, you gotta follow through. You gotta be consistent. So, man, the whole deal with it, and it's very easy to tell what happened, and everybody has already pointed this out, was that there was no roadmap. All right, they knew they wanted to make 3 movies, but that was it. They didn't know what direction they wanted to go in at all. They just knew they had to make a movie, and so they got one director to do one thing and set up all this shit, and then they got one director that just didn't care about any of it and tried to go a totally other direction. And then in the last episode, they panicked and they tried to fix it all, and it didn't work. And it's very sad because I love Star Wars, and I love Star Wars to the point I'm one of those people that like I defend the prequels. Like I know the prequels like suck in certain parts, but like I defend them, right? And even I am like, God, the new movies suck. You know what I mean? I just can't. There's nothing there. You know what I mean? But yeah. So I do want this to that's my little rant about Star Wars. So yeah, long story short, I did not enjoy Rise of Skywalker. I saw it with my best friends. If you guys remember, I vlogged when Last Jedi came out. Like 3 years ago at this point, 2.5 years ago. And me and all of my best friends went and saw it, and the same group of us went. And it was super awesome. We've seen like, obviously we saw the last one. And we were super excited, and we literally sat there, and the 4 of us, as soon as the shit ended, we all looked at each other, and my boy Sam was like, or no, it was Nacho. It was like, dude, what'd you think? And I was like, that movie was fucking ass, man. And it hurt me to say it, but like I knew it. I literally knew it while watching the movie. I literally the whole time was like watching it like flabbergasted at the decisions that were being made. And the thing is like there were dope parts of the movie. Like obviously like the effects and like the scenery and the set piece, everything was great. It was so sick. But the movie was just dog ass. But yeah, I want this to be positive energy, man. I want this to be good times. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and open it up to the Twitch chat right now. We're gonna do a little bit of a live Q&A. So anything that you guys want to ask me, any topic suggestions, um, and we'll do this for a few minutes while we wind down the podcast. But yeah, I hope y'all stick with me for this. Like I said, I know this is a little bit awkward. I know this is a little bit weird. But I think we're gonna get used to it as time goes on, and I think it's gonna be cool. Hopefully it's a cool thing for us to do, and I want to be able to do it consistently because, like I said, I've been really into podcasting forever, and I've really wanted to get into it, and so now finally having the ability to do that with the Wavelengths podcast and now with this is super awesome. So. Yeah, and I'm reading a lot of stuff in the Twitch chat about Chewbacca was gonna die and then didn't. Yeah, it was all kinds of stuff. We got a question from Mock Speed right here. He says, "What's the first thing you want to do when the quarantine thing is over?" So I assume like you mean like leave my house and shit, right? Because I cannot wait to get back to like watching sports and all that shit. When it's cool to stop social distancing, yeah. So first thing I want to do when it's cool to stop social distancing. Well, I guess the thing that I miss most is I haven't been to a Halo tournament since November, man. We went to DreamHack Atlanta in November of 2019, and that was the last time I went to a tournament. I was gonna go to DreamHack Anaheim in February, but I ended up getting sick right before, like literally the day before my flight, and I had to skip it, and I was super sad about it. A bunch of my friends went. Justin, Jen, Shaw. A bunch of my friends went to that event, and I wasn't able to. So I was really sad about that. Yeah, I really miss Halo events, man. I haven't, like I said, it's been since November. It's what, April at this point, right? Like it's halfway through April at this point. Like I just miss being in the environment. That's why I'm so excited for Infinite, man, is because I cannot wait to get back to, because I remember, back when Halo 5 was fresh and we still had all tournaments, like all the tournaments going on, like when I first like when I booked my flight like for Worlds, like for the Halo World Championship in 18, and when I went to that event, like that was so sick. I had so much fun, and I went and hung out with my friends in a cool city and watched a dope ass Halo tournament and met like a ton of fans, and it was like events are always just such dope experiences, and so I do miss that. But I think the first thing, like the first like basic thing that I want to do is like I want to see my boys again. I haven't seen any of my friends in a while, and so I want to definitely hang out with my friends. I'm still able to get out of the house. Like I said, here in Nashville, we have just a safer at home order. I'm pretty sure is the one that it's called. So we're not like forcibly quarantined, or I don't think anybody's forcibly quarantined, but it's not to the point where like you'll get pulled over if you're non-essential. You know what I mean? I forget what it's called. Um, Somebody in Twitch chat was reminding me the other day, but I fucking forget. I always forget what it's called. So I'm still able to get out of the house. So I still go to I've still gone to Chick-fil-A a few times, and like I'll do like they'll bring it out to the curb for you, and like I've gone and picked up food for my family before. My mom runs a waste disposal business. Shelter in place order, thank you. Yeah, we don't have one of those. There's been talk about maybe going up to that, but we haven't yet in Nashville. But yeah, my mother owns a waste disposal business, which is essential, and so I've had to go back and forth to her office a couple times to like get the mail and like just shit like that. Um, so I've still been able to like get out a fair bit, but um, uh, but yeah, I definitely just I don't know. I guess just life to get back to normal. I mean, it's gonna be crazy, dude. It's gonna be so wild because this has caused such an effect. It's gonna be so wild to see how the world like readjusts. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't know. But I think that's probably a good place to start wrapping it up. I appreciate you guys participating, but we went for about 38 minutes there. And so we're pushing 40 minutes. So that's pretty solid for the first episode. I hope this was enjoyable for you guys, and like I said, for those of you that were listening on Spotify or watching this on YouTube, I hope this works and isn't too awkward of a setup. I'm gonna try to make this, like I said, as seamless for you guys. Uh, but yeah, I really appreciate you guys. If you made it this far, I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to me. Like I said, I've been really excited about this for a long time, and so I really appreciate that I finally can do this. So yeah, I'm not sure how frequently I'm gonna do it. Like I said, it might be once a week because I might just be vibing with this. Like I really enjoyed this, guys. So if I'm just like vibing with this and you guys, like we just have more shit to talk about, like I might do this once a week if you guys fuck with it. Um uh but yeah, it might end up being every other week, but yeah, I'm seeing everybody in the chat saying damn, it flew by. Well, that's good, man. That's good. That's the goal here. But yeah, again, I really appreciate you guys chilling with me. Much love. Remember, if you want to go listen on Spotify, everything is linked everywhere. I'm gonna have all the links and everything set up. So whether you're listening us on Spotify or watching on YouTube or watching on Twitch, and you want to see any of those things on the other places, you're gonna have a way to do that. But yeah, again, I appreciate you guys listening and hanging out with me. Much love, much respect. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys later. Peace, everybody.